This is the woman who sues a kid for tracking her private jet usage, but not Trump for referencing her music and IP multiple times. You know who definitely has bad politics? Jeff Bezos.
Alexi's online.
Hi, Alexi here. Welcome back to my channel, where I'm having an odd amount of wedding fever for somebody that's chronically single. Billionaire weddings. So I do want to start this video off with a quick note to potential hardcore Swifties that might currently be watching. I am going to try to stick to the facts regarding Taylor Swift's wedding and try to be fairer to her, I guess, using those facts. But at the end of the day, I don't think I will come across as particularly kind to her within your view, potentially. Given my own experience with hardcore Swifties in my life, I don't think I'm going to convince you that in a lot of situations you can love the art but kind of hate the artist. And you are certainly not going to convince me that she's a secret leftist in the comments of this video. If this doesn't really sound like it's the video for you, it's okay to click off. I don't want to waste either of our times. I promise we'll both survive. Also, all that snoring you hear in the background, that is my very old dog. He's very sleepy all the time, and he would not date a 17-year-old when he was in his 20s, mostly because he can't date. He is a dog. Okay, that's as petty as I'm gonna get about Taylor Swift in this video. Probably. So on July 3rd, 2026, singer Taylor Swift and American football player Travis Kelce got married in Madison Square Garden in New York. And oh boy, was there controversy. Let's start with the venue. On the one hand, getting married at Madison Square Garden might make a bit of sense. It has a security system that has been repeatedly described as airtight and is completely enclosed. Basically, it would be really difficult for paparazzi to get a picture through a window or using a drone over top of the venue. And I do actually think it's reasonable to want some level of privacy on your wedding day. However, what and I would say a lot of other people don't think is reasonable is shutting down several city blocks and a major transit center. See, Madison Square Garden sits on top of Penn Station, which is where a bunch of transit lines intersect. To be clear, I don't live in New York, and while I have been a few times, my understanding of the subway is pretty limited, and a lot of it does come from the subway by Chapel Roan. But from my understanding, you can think of it as the central station where you transfer trains if you sort of live outside of the city. Like, this is a Bay Area rapid transit map. We call it BART. Because that's cuter. Where did my pen go? Found it. I will zoom in on this for you because I'm sure it's a little bit hard to see. So, I grew up in the East Bay, over here. And if I want to get to San Francisco, because this line that goes directly there doesn't run that often, I would have to go to one of these two stops to transfer on a train to San Francisco. Now, if these two stops were closed down, which has happened because BART, God bless it, is not always the most reliable, and the red line wasn't running, I could probably take a bus from downtown Berkeley to, 12th Street, Oakland. But it would be a pain in the ass. And again, from personal experience, it gets you to the city way later than you wanted, and you miss the opening act of a concert. Additionally, as Kayla points out in her video on Tay and Trav's wedding, New York City, really fucking hot right now. But residents are being advised to keep their thermostats set to 78 degrees to save energy. Meanwhile, Madison Square Garden is sucking up a whole bunch of energy for a private citizen's wedding, when normal New York residents are kind of baking in the heat, and that, I would say, kinda sucks. Which is another aspect of this, right? Yeah, New Yorkers might be used to road closures and delays around Madison Square Garden because of Knicks games or concerts, but those are public events that theoretically anyone could go to. That's disregarding, like, ticket prices and availability. Also, I know there was a rumor going around that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were having a castle set built inside Madison Square Garden. It was just a rumor. There likely was not a castle set inside of Madison Square Garden at their wedding. In the interest of being fair, I did want to point out that if you want to judge Taylor and Travis for getting married at Madison Square Garden and call it tacky, whatever, I get it. I really get it. But don't add the castle thing in there, the tackiness. It can stand on its own 2 feet. Again, if that's your opinion. I've also seen the argument of, well, you guys would have been upset if she got married on a private island. You would be upset no matter what she did. Which, first of all, yeah, actually, you're right. Congratulations. But another point that I liked from Kayla Says' video is that if she did get married on a private island, it would have been what we all expected anyways. Like, we'd be normal amount of baseline judging her. But there is a level of audacity and entitlement to a wedding that shuts down a very busy area of New York City that is almost funny. Now, Taylor and Travis did donate a total of $26 million to various charities supporting education and food access before their wedding. I've seen criticism online that these were safe options and that she sucks for not donating to organizations that might upset her more conservative fan base, such as Black Lives Matter or Trans Law Center or Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. I do actually think that's in the vein of course, people are upset, and I think that we have the right to be upset. But also, I don't think anybody is super surprised by that. It's very private island core, you know? So, a few more gossipy outlets were the first to report that Steve J. Demetrio, I don't care, was at the wedding. Steve J. Demetrio is the executive chair of Amentum, which is a government contractor that basically does security stuff. According to Defense One, it is also, quote,
one of the largest US DoD test and training range operations, maintenance, engineering sustainment, and integration support solutions providers in the world.
DoD is Department of Defense, if that also took you a minute to remember. Recently, Amentum acquired ICE detention centers, which was found to have dozens of violations of detention standards. Yes, to be clear, Amentum was hired to replace the old contractor that caused a lot of these violations, but once again, to reference Kayla Says, the company that Steve J. Demetrio is the chair of is slapping a fresh coat of paint on a concentration camp. I saw somebody online just now argue that he is doing harm reduction. Shut up. Per Rolling Stone, Steve J. Demetrio was likely attending as a guest of his son, Ohio Republican Representative Steve Demetrio, and or his adopted son, Reggie King, who is a longtime friend of Travis Kelce. Hey, did you know that Representative Steve Demetrio co-sponsored an anti-LGBTQ bill and wanted to defund public libraries? No wonder Tay and Trav had to donate so much money to children's literacy programs. And yeah, I get it, the wedding had 1,000 guests, but considering Reggie King is allegedly a close friend of Travis Kelce, did no one really think to say, oh, hey, maybe don't invite your grandpa, it would be bad optics? Then again, this is the woman who sues a kid for tracking her private jet usage, but not Trump for referencing her music and IP multiple times, and the man who is best friends with Trump supporters, so are we surprised? And listen, I don't know Taylor Swift's politics because I don't know her personally, but here's my guess. I think that she's so far removed from normal people that she doesn't care about these politics unless it affects her. And I do hear the talking point a lot. She doesn't have to address Palestine or the erosion of trans rights or I think last year, maybe it was earlier this year, it's been a long year, gay marriage being threatened by the Supreme Court or abortion rights just because she's a celebrity, which yeah, that's objectively true, but also kind of bleak. Like, yeah, she doesn't have to do anything, but it's the right thing to do. It's the thing we should be doing as human beings. You know who definitely has bad politics? Jeff Bezos. CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and former journalist Lauren Sánchez got married this time last year, actually, on June 26th through 28th. The wedding was held in Venice, Italy, specifically at, and I'm gonna butcher this, San Giorgio Maggiore Basilica on the island of San Giorgio Maggiore. I'm sorry to Italian speakers everywhere for that one. As with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, Bezos and Sanchez's wedding caused major disruptions to the city of Venice. Waterways and bridges were blocked off, and residents protested. Laura Gossi of the BBC reported, quote,
"No Space for Bezos unites activists belonging to various Venetian collectives, from those campaigning for more housing for Venice's dwindling population to the anti-cruise ship committee. These topics are linked," Federica Tonelli told the BBC. "They all have to do with Venice turning into a place that puts tourists rather than residents at the center of its politics."
Bezos and Sanchez donated between 2 and 3 million USD. I found conflicting reports on that, to lagoon research in the area, and considering that they're multi-billionaires and their wedding cost between $46.5 and $55.6 million, that is wild work. They also had controversial guests such as Ivanka Trump. Although I would argue that probably more of the controversy lay with who chose to attend the wedding event, because we all expected Bezos to invite weird people. By the way, Forbes estimates that Swift and Kelce's wedding cost at least $20 million. In addition, the number I've seen floating around for police cost for like security and blocking off all those streets is $160,000, and it's still not clear if that amount is going to be paid by Taylor and Travis or New York City taxpayers. Yep. Hi, getting ready for bed, Alexi here. So I did see on Friday that CNN posted that Sexiest Mayor Alive's our Mom Donnie did confirm that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce paid $160K in permit fees. In researching this video, I found the paper, Are You Ready For It? Reevaluating Taylor Swift really helpful. In the paper, Mary Fogarty and Gina Arnold discuss Taylor Swift's carefully crafted, often conflicting personas. Quote,
"Via her varied personas, girl next door, cheerleader, heartbreaker, nerdy girl, businesswoman, or cottagecore explorer, Taylor Swift is both a monument to the past and a modern megalith, toppling the music industries through her appeal to people that historically and culturally have been told that their musical tastes are invalid, like country fans and teenage girls."
Taylor Swift has been a Christian country star, a earnest teenage girl, a pop princess, a canceled woman seeking revenge, an indie artist, a tortured poet, and a slightly cynical but very in love showgirl. She's an Aryan goddess to white supremacists and a feminist icon to liberals. Men that like her are a green flag on Love Island because so many men find her cringe. Like I previously mentioned, I don't know her actual politics and beliefs, and I don't think that any of us, the general public that were not invited to the wedding, ever will. But it is kind of weird that she keeps breaking bread with right-wingers, and that her wedding had some pretty striking similarities to Jeff Bezos's. And if there are any hardcore Swifties still watching, it's pretty likely that they're going to be mad about me pointing it out. Guess I'm not a feminist. Let me know if you have any thoughts about the wedding. I'm also really curious about people that had been hardcore Swifties for a while and were kind of finally pushed over the edge to take a step back, just because there are people in my life who have done that and there are people in my life who haven't. Also, I don't make a lot of money off of these YouTube videos. I don't have sponsors or anything like that. The money I do make is just ad revenue, and I've blocked a lot of ads that are related to like GLP-1s or gambling. But the money that I do make off of this video, I will be donating to the family of Nolan Wells. I will have the family's GoFundMe linked in a pinned comment and also in my description box if you would like to donate as well. Thank you so much for watching. My outro song is Take a Vacation by the Young Banes. All channel art is by me. Like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye now.